Evening all, welcome back to the channel. D-Dot in the chat already. Lights, camera, action, that's about right. Welcome back to the channel, people. Tonight I'm bringing you round 8 of the Chewwitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup, hosted by Tanso Racing over there on Facebook. Make sure you go and check both of those pages out, both the Tanso Racing group and the Chewwitt Racing family. Thank you very much. While you're over there, get yourselves over and click those like buttons over on D-Dot's page. He'll be streaming his race live tonight from his perspective, so probably a bit of swearing from him if he gets sent into the gravel, no doubt. And this track is renowned for it. So yes, it is round 8 tonight, although we have got an extra round, which is going to be the stand-in next week for Goodwood, which was a terrible, terrible concoction of a race. But all will be revealed at the end. I'm not going to give that one away yet. I've been told to keep that one a secret until the end. But we are back tonight. What have we done with that? We are back tonight with round 8 live from... I don't want that. Where do I want? I want that. So we are live from Willow Springs International Raceway tonight. We're at the Big Willow Circuit, which is just a great big dust bowl with a strip of tarmac in the middle. So yes, any kind of contacts and going off track could mean a little trip into the Netherlands. There's an awful lot to run off on here, and you may see 1 or 2 people ramp their way into the pits. We'll see what's going on, but before that happens, let's get ourselves into the scores and go through those. So leading the way at the minute is Rob Scott, 12. He's on 248 points. Cutler sitting in second with 216 points. Also on 216 points is D-Dot in third position. We've got DDR Pajonski in 4th with 206 points. We've got IT43 5th with 166 points. Old Crawler 6th with 144 points. DDR Hatterlad in 7th with 131 points. Ricky J 1800, he is in 8th with 129 points. Got DMK DK10 in 9th with 117 points. And number 1 Pops 10th with 105 points. And then if we just close that one down, in 11th we've got DMK Aldo, he's on 102 points. DDR Giraffe Head is on 80 points for 12th. DDR Alien Swift 13th with 68 points. DDR Hulky in 14th with 47 points. Got DDR Forky Jonesy, a lot of drivers under the DDR banner. DDR Forky Jonesy, he's on 32 points with 15th. Got One Eyed Lou 16th with 24 points, alongside Dazzler 67 in 17th and Shuri 69 with 22 points in 18th. So a couple of drivers standing in while we've had a few drivers out. So merch still available, people. T-shirts and stickers. Let me know if you want any of that. darksmoker@googlemail.com if you do. And let's get ourselves in this lobby then. So it's an endurance race tonight, a full 60-minute. They will have to use all 3 compounds of tyre throughout the race, and they're only allowed to use 1 set of each as well. So a soft, a medium and a hard to play with, and it's entirely up to them how they use them. But they are really allowed to use that 1 set, and as you can see, let's get ourselves in. It is literally dust bowl. There you go, a sand pit with a tarmac strip down the middle of it. Gives a better view. Just turn the usual nonsense on for you lot. There you go, Cutler just dipping a wheel on the grass himself. Well, the grass, there's no grass here, some sand. Right, let's go see what people are doing then. So Pajonsky, oh, is he first man out on track? Somebody else out in front of him, might only be on an out lap though. Gotta be careful, gotta be careful. So a 15-minute qualifier here, then we'll set them up for grid positions for this 60-minute race. Again, they have to use all three compounds. They've got to worry about fuel as well. So it'll be all about strategy while I'm keeping it on track. Again, nothing to actually run into, but depending where you go off track, can take you an awful long time to get back on track. So Pajonsky coming around then to finish his first hot lap. Let's see what he's got. He's on the soft tyre for quali. Comes up to the line. It's 1:25.4 so far then. Cutler coming up right behind him. What does he put in? Slower, it's 1:25.9. 26.8 for IT43. Rob Scott with the 1:27.6. Well, they're racing hards for qualifying. Interesting choice. Softs on for IT43. Old Crawler getting into fourth with a 1:26.5. D-Dot as well. Slinging it into third position, 1:26.0. Big shout out to the Vroom Room boys as well. Lone Wolf Racing. Obviously Tanso and me. So it is Pajonsky leading the way at the minute on that 1:25.4. Number one Pops has snucked his way into second position with a 1:25.6. Evening Vroom Room. That nearly came out wrong. So, can number one Pops hold on to that second position? He pushes Cutler down a notch. He's just coming up to this line again though. Pajonsky's in, he's getting a change of tyres. Need to put extra fuel in for qualifying, obviously. 1:26.0, still not quick enough. So D-Dot fourth, Old Crawler fifth. He's coming in for a change of tyres. IT43 in sixth. Aldo getting something all wrong. Now in the pits. Let's get ourselves back in. So Rob Scott just coming out seventh at the minute. 1:27.6, his fastest. Aldo, sorry, is just in front of him. He's no time on the board. Rob's got on that 1:27.6 though. Ricky J 9th with a 1:28.5. DK10 10th. 1:28.6. Forky Jonesy 10th. No hot lap yet, 1:30.7, but it looks like he's picked up a penalty somewhere on the circuit. So I'm not sure whether when Pajonsky came out the pits he actually clipped the back end of the MK DK10. That's why we saw DK10 doing a bit of a wobble. Reggie GT, evening brother. Best livery sticker maker, designer ever. Tell your mates, tell your mums. Reggie's the man. So, number one Pops holding on to that second at the minute. Nobody able to take Pajonsky off the top spot yet. Not quite halfway through this qualifying session. And again, we have got the standing round next week for the terrible lobby, which always seems to be Goodwood. It doesn't really matter what sort of setup you have, just that track in general seems to play havoc with lobby settings. I'm alright, Reg, I'm alright, mate. Hope you're alright too, brother. Pajonsky's on his out lap then. One Pops are just another lap at 1:26.6, so he stays in second. Cutler's next threat, he's still on an out lap though. D-Dot is on a hot lap. a lot of wear, D-Dot. See what he puts in across this timing line. Yeah, slower half a second. Yeah, tyres not helping him out in this lap. Crawler doing all right, 5th. T43.6, gone a little bit quicker on 26.7. Aldo 7th. So a quarter of a second back from IT43, so he's on about 127 dead then. Is Aldo. DMK DK10, 126.9. Forky Jonesy has managed to put a full lap in, 127.4. And Ricky J, 128.4. Little purples above his name. Can he go quicker? He does, 125.4. There's only a couple of tenths really quicker, but oops. Him further away from what makes number 1 Pops have to work that a little bit harder to try and better that time. Chonsky throws himself back in the pits then. Where are we? 9 minutes into quali. Cutler now coming up to the line. Let's see what he puts in. Fresh set of softs on. A little less fuel as well now. It's 125.7. It's not quick enough to take any positions actually, so he stays in 3rd. It does say he's 2nd on screen, but that's just because Pachonsky is sat in the pits. D-Dot then up to the line. Was that an outlap? Yes, I think so. Fresh tyres on board for D-Dot. Scott goes quicker though, into 4th. Was that 5th? Yeah, still 5th. 126.1 for Rob. Pushes old Crawler down a position. Though also goes a little bit quicker, 126.4. Swaps positions with IT43 only by 3 thousandths. 126.486 for IT43. 26.483 for Aldo. DK10 taking a little shortcut. Forky Jonesy. I thought he'd gone up, but no, he's still sitting in that 2nd to last position. Pachonsky's still only just come out on track, or is he still sat in the pits? Tricky hairpin at the top of the hill. Okay, let's see if old Crawler stays out. No, he doesn't. He comes in. Okay, we'll go on board with IT43 then for a bit of a lap. So down the start, finish straight. Is he backing off? Into turn 1. Hunting Cutler down at the minute. Into turn 2. Tricky, slightly uphill right-hander. He can get 3 wide through here. Let's get ourselves on board with a Cutler. He's just up the road. And he will be putting in a bit of a fast one. No offence IT43, but you were backing off the throttle, probably just to give yourself enough room. So into turn 3, again up the hill, easy to run it wide and onto that sand on the right hand side, straight into the hairpin. Got to get this one right as well. Be some battling for positions through there while they're still close early on. Back down the hill again. Got to try and cover those inside lines. There's plenty of positions, plenty of opportunities for people to stick one down the inside here. Down the back straight then. Final turn. Big fast sweeping right hander is tighten up as it gets towards the end. You can see the curve change there. Just having to back off and then put the throttle back on. Again, if you get it wrong coming out of here, you're on the sand and possibly ramping into the pits. Could have just keeping it on the keeping it out of the pits, but that won't help his time. It is an outlap, so it won't be too bad. Slow him down on the way into this lap though. Oh, he gets it wrong on the way out though. But that's a lap of Willow Springs here. Let's get ourselves back onto trackside cam. There we go. It is Pajonski still on the top spot then. That one 25.4. One pops back out, fresh set of tyres. Can he do anything? Can Cutler do anything? As well on D-Dot's got damage on an out lap, so he's back in the pits. Might not even get an opportunity to do another lap, D-Dot. By the time he's got round to the pits, fixed his car, got back out, done an out lap. He's back in the pits now, we'll see. Pops has gone quicker. Oh no, sorry. No, I'm looking at the wrong time gap there. I'm looking at the gap between Cutler and Pops, not Pops and Pajonski. Cutler does get across the line. Where is D-Dot? Is he back out? No. So yeah, looks like that's going to be it for D-Dot. Just leaving as well, so he's crossing the first time in line just to make his time count. D-Dot doing the same thing. If you stay in the pits, unfortunately it does register your time as being last position, so unfortunately you end up going at the back of the grid. So you will see number one Pops lose his first place position when Pajonski crosses that first time in line. So not able to go quicker yet than number one Pops, but it's pretty much qualifying over. And let's just fling that in the chat so everyone's aware. Get to finish any laps they're on, so it is quicker. Not that time for number one Pops though, unfortunately. It's going to be Pajonski on pole then. Cutler's already crossed the line. He's actually facing the wrong way, so it is going to be Pajonski on pole. Number one Pops second, Cutler third, Rob Scott in fourth, Aldo fifth, D-Dot in throwing themselves in the pits, changing tyres for the start of the race. Always gets me, that does. I blame you, Rob Scott. So 60-minute enduro coming up. Again, all three compounds have to be used. Strategy. That's about the size of it. Medium tyres on board for Pajonski for his first stint. That'll probably be the case. You might not see many drivers stick their softs on for stint one. We'll see though. Again, the endurance does seem to throw up some strange strategies. Oh, number one Pops is damaged. He's on the softs. Hards for Rob Scott. Aldo on the hards. D-Dot on the hards. Ricky J's gone for the softs. Old Crawler's gone for the softs. IT43 mediums. Mediums for DK10. Hards and full damage for Forky Jonesy. Hopefully nobody's carrying over extra weight from last week. Sprint series, the top 3 carry over success ballast into each race. Some drivers do forget to reset their cars back to 1050, as Cutler's just put on the screen there. They do forget to put it back to the 1050 standard weight, and unfortunately it catches some drivers out. I think D-Dot's done it, I think Pajonski's done it. I could be wrong, but a couple of drivers have. Yeah, it looks like that might have been IT43 as well. So he's just done quali, I think, with a slightly heavier car. Number 1 pops, yeah, so damage repaired. He's going for the softs for stint 1. A rack of minis parked up on the sand then. About to get this one underway. These boys aren't even going to get a chance to park their minis properly, maybe. Oh boys, you've got handbrake. Okay, so we're just waiting for places to be set then. Everyone's crossed the first time in line, have they? Maybe not IT43. Driver's just coming through now, let's have a look. Johnsky pulling up to mini corner. Can't be 5th and 6th, D-Dot. He must be 6th if Aldo's 5th. Everyone got a different set of wheels, different liveries. So this would have been the final round of the series, but again, because of Goodwood's shocking performance, never seems to be good there. We're going to rerun that round next week. I'm going to tell you where yet. That's being kept secret till after this one. Secrets, eh? Who'd have thought it? Into the final then, a couple of seconds left, we'll get this one underway. Hopefully it's a strong enough lobby, we don't have any issues. Here it is then, peeps. Round 8 of the Chewwitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup, 1 hour endurance about to get underway. These little minis have got to try and negotiate these first few turns without getting themselves tangled up in the sand or each other. Let's get ourselves, come on, let me change, you swine. I'll tell you what, I hate this game sometimes. Alright, let's stick with the front. Pajonski then. Just going to try and get a better view from the back as they run down to turn 1. Pajonski just keeping his lead. Can number 1 Pops hold off Cutler? Does. No attack down the outside from Cutler. Number 1 Pops is having a go at Pajonski for the lead already though. Again on those soft tyres, possibly trying to make those work for him early on. Get his way past Pajonski, try and make a bit of a gap. Gotta make him work quickly though, up towards, turn 3. loses a bit of time. Cutler thinks about having a shoot up the inside. Doesn't quite work out for him. Now it looks like Pajonsky's got turn 2 a little bit wrong. Sorry, turn 4 a little bit wrong. He's now to fend off IT43 and Cutler running down the hill. IT43 slots himself on. Sorry, it's number 1 Pops. Livery's catching me out. He is side by side with Pajonsky as they run down this back straight. Give me flipping camera angles, PlayStation. Give me... Oh, I tell you what is happening with this? No camera angles to play with at the minute. So it is Pajonsky leading us round to finish lap 1 then, followed by number 1 Pops, Cutler, Rob Scott, Aldo. Top 5 made a bit of a break. D-Dot in 6 under pressure from Old Crawler for that position though. Looks like Old Crawler got a better run out the final turn. Outside, if he can keep it on track, there's dirt and stones being kicked up everywhere. Whoa, Ricky J's off in the background, sideways and onto the grass again. So turn 1, got to get your braking done in the right place, or that's the result. Lost a couple of positions there then, Ricky J. Now under pressure from DMK, DK10 and Forky Jonesy for that last remaining positions. So number 1 Pops does get himself through to the front of the field then. Why have I lost keyboard? Why have I lost the cameras? I had them a minute ago. Okay, let me just 1 second people. Let me make sure keyboard options on. Yeah, on. Yeah. Who knows? And it won't let me change on the pad either. What is happening? So it is number 1 Pops then from Pajonsky, Cutler 3rd. Also now pulled a little bit of a gap between themselves and Rob Scott. Rob Scott now got D-Dot and Old Crawler 5th and 6th, battling for position. Almost up the inside there for D-Dot. A little bit wide. Aldo's having a go at him now. Aldo already passed. IT43 looking for a way past as well as they run down towards turn 1. Stays behind D-Dot though for the time being. Oh, is that someone running wide? No, maybe D-Dot looking to try and get as much pace out of that car as possible. T43 then doing what he can to hang on to the back end. Ricky J still in 9th, fending off the 2 drivers behind him, DMK, DK10 and Forky Jonesy. Number 1 Pops. Oof, Cutler coming in hot there. Almost off track. Number 1 Pops starting to pull away from Pajonsky. He's got a 2nd already. Cutler again losing a little bit of time. Trying a little bit too hard. Cutler came into turn 3 a little bit hot. Crawler all over the back of Rob Scott as they run down this back straight as well. Hard tyre versus a soft tyre here. What can Old Crawler do with those? Still trying to run around the outside. Just tying up in a minute. He's managed to get his way through, giving plenty of space. Looking for the switchback and cut back up the inside maybe. Old Crawler. 2 wheels on the grass. Oh, same for Rob Scott on the way out. Still battling as they head down towards turn 1 then. Why won't you give me keyboard options, you stupid PlayStation? I'll tell you what. Plug the keyboard in, right, instead of having it plugged into the PlayStation 5 like a muppet. It might work! Crackhead. Right, don't want that view now. Not playing with it. So it is number 1 Pops then. Doing well on those softs. Starting to show a bit of wear though. He's got to make that break. Pajonsky's medium's not looking too bad. Just 5.5 minutes into it, top 3 already pulled a great big gap from everybody else. Cutler hanging on to the back of these two, also on the medium tyres. The tyre whisperer. His medium's looking a lot better than Pajonsky's, especially the front left. See how we get some of those. Rob Scott still fending off Old Crawler for that position. Hard versus soft tyre here. A lot of wear on Old Crawler's softs though. Could be causing him to just lose a bit of traction out of the turn. So Rob Scott holding on to that fourth. Old Crawler fifth. Aldo sixth. D-Dot right on his tail. Now I want some of those views. D-Dot again thinks about a little move up the inside, but not able to do it. Aldo comes back across the track, shuts that door. IT43 looking for a way through as well. There's the battle behind as well between is it DK10 and Ricky J. It is. DMK DK10's managed to get himself past Ricky J into 9th. Forky Jonesy, oh, but it looks like he might have run wide and gone off track in the background. I think he has. Too hot into the hairpin for DK10. That runs him off track. Aldo gets that 9th. Great run out of that turn for D-Dot. Side by side, we've got IT43 looking for a way through as well. It's going to get swamped on both sides. D-Dot goes through. There's IT43 up the inside as well. There's an Aldo sandwich then. Nothing he could do. Got D-Dot on the outside. He's still got IT43, and he's onto the sand. And he's backwards. That's a long way off track. A little bit of rear end damage. Oh, Ricky J's done exactly the same thing. Two drivers firing themselves off then. Ricky J recovering better. Obviously managing to keep it on track. Also picked up a little bit of rear end damage. And that is, unfortunately, can happen here at Willow Springs. Tricky circuit. So number one pops his lead. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. Down to just half a second. Cutler sweeps up the inside of Pajonsky there to take second position. It was a little way back, so they've all closed back up again. Number one pop still that half a second lead, but he has blown out his fastest set of tyres. Has to slam the brakes on there not to go too wide onto the sand in that corner. Cut that and Pajonsky. Let's get ourselves on board with Pajonsky. In-car view, number one pops running wide. Looks like he knows he's going to lose these positions to Cutler and Pajonsky. Maybe he's just telling them he's coming in the pits this lap. That's why he's staying over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Not, he slots himself in behind Cutler, stays out on track. Pajonsky has to hold on to third position. One pops, thinks about having a go back at Cutler into turn one, tries to outbrake him. Again, those soft tyres. Oh, he's struggling to keep it on track now as well. Both first and second go off track. Pajonsky then, can he make it work? Get himself around the outside here of Cutler. He's back on track. Goes for a little move back up the inside. Cutler's picked up a penalty as well, so still relinquish that position to Pajonsky. Back into first position then for him. Cutler second, loses that penalty. Number one pops, unfortunately, now 1.5 seconds back from the top two. There you go. Nevada desert or something. I'm sure there's area 51 just over the brow of that hill. Number one pops then sideways into that turn. Rob Scott and Old Crawler still battling it out. T43 now pulled a bit of a gap from D-Dot. What happened to Aldo? Oh, Aldo managed to run himself off track, didn't he? So IT43 then into 6th, D-Dot 7th, DK10 in 8th, Ricky J 9th, Forky Jonesy 10th, and Aldo unfortunately getting his damage repaired and back in the pits, back out in 11th. Long way to go yet though. 50 minutes remaining, and it is now battle for first. Pajonsky versus Cutler. On board with the race leader. Podjonski is having to go a little bit defensive. Again, his tyres looking a little worse for wear than Cutler's. You know, Cutler can make a set of tyres last longer than anybody else in this series. Ah, not if he's doing that though. Runs himself off track again. Slings himself up the inside, but again, that's run him a little bit wide, and off track he goes. Whether he's decided to jack that Mini up and stick some four-wheel drive on it, but he's off track a fair bit tonight, old Cutler. That gives Podjonski some breathing room. 1.6 seconds between him and first now. Cutler's put himself back under pressure from number 1 Pops for that second position. There they are on second and third. Scott and Old Crawler still battling it out for fourth, starting to close up on those two in front as well. IT43 looks like that gap's coming down, 1.4 seconds. D-Dot 7th, 1.2 seconds back. DK10, another 7.4 seconds back. Ricky J, 9 seconds back. 8.5, 8.6 seconds back. 2.9 seconds back for Forky Jonesy. Aldo, after that trip to the pits, 17.9 seconds down from Forky Jonesy, 43 seconds down from race leader. See if he can make anything back up from this race. Podjonski still holding that 1.6 second lead then. Cutler managed to make another little break from number 1 Pops. Takes a 10th out of Podjonski's time. Seen a fair bit of off-track action here tonight then. A few drivers swapping positions. Number 1 Pops is being pressured then. Rob Scott all over the back end of him, dragging Old Crawler with him. Third position could be under threat here for number 1 Pops. Oh, he dips a wheel on the sand. Losing time. Rob Scott goes through. Oh, we're going to see Old Crawler do the same thing. I think we are carrying a little bit too much speed for that not to happen. So number 1 Pops dips a wheel on the sand and loses 2 positions. His tyres are absolutely battered now as well. He should be thinking about coming into the pits this lap. Let's see what he does. And he does, getting rid of those worn out softs that have been costing him too much time. Back on board with race leader Podjonski. He's lost a bit of his lead. 1.1 seconds again. His mediums not looking too good now. Cutler's still looking half decent compared to the race leaders. Again, is known as the tyre whisperer is Cutler. Scott then up into 3rd position. He's out on his hard tyre, so doing all right at the minute. Rob Scott 3 seconds down, but racing well on those hards. Old Crawler right behind him on softs. Not managed to put those faster tyres to good use. He's managed to hang on to Rob Scott, but that's about it. IT43 on his mediums, then losing those 2 positions. Comes under threat from D-Dot now behind him, just a second back. Oh, just catch DK10 getting it wrong on the way into the hairpin. So number 1 Pops back into his fight. So number 1 Pops just been in then. Got rid of his worn out softs, now got a set of mediums on. J 9th, Forky Jonesy 10th, Aldo 11th. So lost a bit of time to race leaders, but is closing the gap on Forky Jonesy with those fresh hards. Oh, Cutler. That's what that big cloud of dust is. That's a Cutler getting it all wrong. Turn 1. He's decided a late move into the pits. Oh, he's hit the pit wall as well. That's going to slow him down even more. He's probably picked up damage. Yes, he has. Gonna have to get that repaired on the way in. I didn't see whether he'd already got that. A lot of drivers in the pits this lap. Podjonski stays out though. He's going to gain all sorts of time with that little mistake from Cutler. Even when he comes in the pits and has to take his pit, it won't be as long as Cutler's in the pits due to that damage. It was a late move by him. Obviously getting the corner prior to it a little bit wrong. Thought he might stop out and have another go, and then lastminute.com decided against it, threw himself into the pit wall. And yeah, that caused some damage. That's going to put him right at the back of the pack now, I think, has it? Oh no, still out on track in 8th. So he's back out on the hard tyre now. Damage repaired. It's cost him an awful lot of time. So Pajonski now with a 7.1 second lead over IT43. Still some decent fights happening on track. IT43 and D-Dot at it for second position at the minute. They've got a little battle still here between Rob Scott, number 1 Pops. Crawler been dropped in that fight now. Fresh set of mediums on for Rob Scott. So fresh set of mediums on for number 1 Pops. Crawler out on the hard tyre, so yeah, he will be losing a bit of time to those drivers in front. Ricky J still out on the hard, still damaged. Cutler sweeps up the inside to take a position off of him. DK10 now on a fresh set of hards. Forky Jones, he on a set of hards still. Wants to think about getting rid of those. Stays out this lap though. DK10. No, sorry, DMK Aldo, 11th, right on the back end of Forky Jonesy after his pit stop. Oh, what's happened there? Look, that's not cricket. So when will we see Pajonski in? Just coming up towards pit in now. Do you think he's got enough life left in those? He does, stays out. 6.7 seconds over D-Dot on his hards now. Ooh, IT43 goes a little bit wide, loses a bit of time to D-Dot. Yet to pit though, these two drivers. Rob Scott has pit, as has number 1 Pops. Old Crawler has pit as well. Cutler has just come in after Chaos and Mayhem on the way in. 7th position, still 25 seconds back from race leader. Ricky J in 8th, DK10 9th, close it up actually on Ricky J. We're on hard tyre versus hard tyre, worn out hard tyre and damage actually for Ricky J. Closing up though, Forky Jonesy now coming under threat from Aldo right behind him. 1.2 seconds. Should make short work of Forky Jonesy, I think, when they get up to this back straight. Through there, already closing the gap, making the run over the hill. Maybe not quite enough. So Pajonski still out then. 5.3 seconds. Losing time to D-Dot and IT43 behind him. So really wants to think about getting rid of these mediums, chucking his next set of tyres on. We'll see when that is though. I would have thought he would have come in last lap, but we'll see. Starting to break away from IT43 then, 2.2 seconds the gap here. Rob Scott got a little bit of breathing room between himself and number 1 Pops now as well. A lot of of difference in their tyres. I'm sure they came in at about the same lap, Rob Scott and number 1 Pops. That set of mediums quick. Crawler on the hards in 6th. Couple of 7th, 6 seconds down though. DMK has got himself past Ricky J into 8th. Ricky J now 9th. Aldo has got his way past Forky Jonesy. Forky Jonesy in 11th. 1943 in the pits. Where's he going to come back out? Johnski stopped out for another lap and he's losing more time to D-Dot. So Johnski's got a soft tyre and a hard tyre left to play with. D-Dot has a medium and a soft left to play with. And he is closing that gap up. Scott into 3rd. IT43's departure into the pits has put him into 3rd position. Pops as well follows him through. Old Crawler does the same. 5th. IT43 comes back out in 6th position, but under threat from Cutler. Fresh set of hard tyres versus a slightly worn set of hards. Can IT43 fend off Cutler? Oh, Aldo's left the room. Not sure what happened there. He managed to get himself past Forky Jonesy. Johnski's in the pits now then. D-Dot stays out on his tyres. Rob Scott stays out as well. He has already pit though. While Pops goes through, he's going to take 3rd. Johnski, fresh tyres back on. And back out into 4th position. He's going to be under threat from Old Crawl into turn 1. Carrying extra speed but slightly worn out tyres. So Johnski on his slowest set now then, the hards. He's going to have to run those for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. Then you want to get rid of those and stick some softs on. But it is now D-Dot leading the race on a worn out set of hards. Two and a half seconds ahead of Rob Scott. Number 1 Pops with 3.6 seconds down. Johnski 3 seconds back. Closing the times down as well. Old Crawler 5th, 1.7 seconds back. 1943 6. He's kept himself in front of Cutler. We just catch Cutler trying to take a little shortcut. Might end up with a penalty for that, I'm not sure. They will slow him down though. The gap between himself and 1943 getting bigger. 10 in 8th and 3.7 seconds down. Ricky J another 4.8 down in 9th. Forky Jonesy 10th, 21 seconds down, and unfortunately we've lost Aldo, so I'm not sure what happened to Aldo. Rob Scott closing that gap up on D-Dot though. He's on a set of mediums versus D-Dot's worn out hards. Chocolate Monster do it. Closes up on D-Dot round turn 2, that's for sure. Gap down to 0.4 of a second. Rob Scott's really only just got to get close enough onto this back straight. Still at 0.4 of a second. Johnski, the gap from 8.5 down to 6.5, so hunting down those leaders pretty quickly. He's on the tail of number 1 Pops down here. Oh, it's D-Dot versus Rob Scott round the final turn. No contact, Rob Scott gets through. Again, those hard tyres of D-Dot's looking a bit worn out. Ah, there you go. There you go, carrying far too much speed into the final turn. Manages to keep it out of the barriers. Towards the pits, is he? Yeah, in he comes then. Oh, he was doing alright as well, D-Dot. He's ended up putting it in the bin. So So it is now Rob Scott leading from number 1 Pops, who is under increased threat from Pajonski. Little cutter back across the track from number 1 Pops. He caused himself chaos, leaving the door a bit open though. Pajonski just slots one up the inside. And now back on the hunt for first. 6.1, 6.2 seconds down from race leader Rob Scott. Hard tyres on for Pajonski versus a semi-worn set of mediums for Rob Scott. Jake, evening brother, how you doing? It's been alright. Unfortunately we've lost Aldo. There's been a little bit of off-track action, but no, not from any bad driving from anyone. It just seems to be mistakes. So Pajonski on the hunt then brings that gap down about a 10th. Rob Scott still driving well on those mediums at the minute. Go see the D. Tell him to keep it on the black stuff. Gap staying the same then between Pajonski and Rob Scott, actually increasing 6.2 seconds. Not doing too bad with wear on those. 1 Pops holding that 3rd position, but his medium's now looking very beaten up. I think he's only got the hards left to play with, I believe. IT43 5th, battling it out with Cutler at the minute. Both on fresh hard tyres. IT43 is a couple of laps younger than Cutler's. But again, Cutler is known as the tyre whisperer, so he'll keep those tyres in good condition for longer, I'm sure of it. DK10 holding 7th, D-Dot back out the pits, fresh set of softs on board for him. Just a second back from DK10. Ricky J still out on the hard tyres. Holding 9th at the minute, Forky Jonesy in 10th, 31.5 seconds down. Rob Scott extending his lead. 6.3 seconds from Pajonski. Cool, I'll see you in a minute, Jakey. So his tyre's not in a bad enough state at the minute for him to be losing time. Has he got consistent 126s, just started to hit the 127s. Similar, there's a couple of slower laps, 129s, 128s from Pajonski. Number 1 Pops then holding 3rd, Old Trawler 4th, but he's been closed up by IT43 and Cutler 182. Cutler still have not managed to get his way past IT43, as he says. IT43 nearly goes off track around the hairpin. We're trying to run it around the outside here, and he has done so. Managed to get himself in front of IT43. It was a good move by Cutler. Saw the little mistake from IT43 and made good use of it. IT43 still hot on his tail though. D-Dot 7th. Those fresh softs, can he make them work for him? DK10 8th, then Ricky J 9th. Forky Jonesy close that gap down by 3 seconds. Ricky J struggling on his worn out hards now, I can imagine. You really ought to think about getting in the pits there, Ricky J. Rob Scott then still holding his own on those semi-worn mediums. Pajonski not really brought the time down any. Still only 6 seconds. Cutler off track again. Oh, it's a great move by IT43. It's a great move. Can he hold it? Oh, he's got a wheel on the sand. That's going to slow him down a little bit. He's still got his nose up the inside, but Cutler's going to have the line into this next turn. almost had it up the inside there, IT43, all over the back of number 1 Pops then, these drivers. So he's got himself in a great big jam here then. Number 1 Pops in 3rd position on worn out mediums, under pressure from Old Crawler. Oh, number 1 Pops off track. We saw Cutler going off there as well, so his wear on his tyres catching him out a little bit. Drops down to 6th position. Old Crawler, Cutler and IT43 go through then. D-Dot's well, carrying more speed through there, manages to get his way past. One Pops will probably be in the pits, I'd have thought, with those worn out tyres. Let's see what he does. In he comes now then. See what's happening back up front. Rob Scott still holding that 6 seconds. Just over the halfway mark at the minute. Cutler into 3rd position. Got his way past Old Crawler. We saw him make his way past IT43. He had a good go coming back at him. Still right there with Cutler though, not giving him any breathing room. IT43 tries to move around the outside of the hairpin and carries the speed around as well, gets himself in front of Old Crawler. Another good move there around that hairpin. Saw it last lap from Cutler, and IT43 has just followed suit. D-Dot then all over the back of Old Crawler as well for this position. Can D-Dot use the toe down towards this final turn? Still all over the back of Old Crawler. Keep it on track, D-Dot. Softs to his advantage. Can he get the power down earlier? Has to slot back into the slipstream of Old Crawler. Swings himself out now. Just gets his nose at the side of Old Crawler's. It's going to be enough. Through he goes into 5th then. Now on the hunt for IT43 in front and Cutler. Closing up on IT43, 0.8 of a second. Dropping. Soft tyres still working for D-Dot at the minute. Needs to close up on Cutler as well, his closest championship rival, I believe. Still closing up on IT43. IT43's off. Cutler's dipped a wheel as well. That's going to slow him down. D-Dot makes his way through to 4th then. Now only 1.11 second back from Cutler. A little dip of the wheel for Cutler has cost him a bit of time. Way ahead of IT43 now. Old Crawler back in the fight with him. So softs versus hard tyre here. Close rivals in the championship, these two. Down to 0.6 of a second. D-Dot will be getting a toe down here now. Brings the time down a little bit more. Should be able to carry more speed around this long sweeping right. Closes up on Cutler again. Defensive into this turn. D-Dot going to sweep around the outside of the hairpin. Cutler runs it a little bit deep. Cutting back up the inside. D-Dot has not worked out yet. He's right on Cutler's tail though. Can he get the faster run out? Cutler's. Oh, he's done it again. All 4 wheels this time. D-Dot goes through then. Cutler could do, but the wear's starting to show on D-Dot's tyres, so he might not hold him to this position for as long as we think. Cutler's hards looking to have a little bit of wear on, but still plenty of life left in them. Let's see what's happening back up front. Rob Scott then, that gap has come down. A little bit of more wear on Rob Scott's tyres, possibly costing him time. Gap down to 5 seconds. Just going past back marker Forky Jonesy there in the picture. 4.9, still plenty of life left in Pajonsky's hards as well. It is costing Rob Scott some time in these turns. Forky Jonesy hanging on to Pajonsky here. He stuck a set of softs on or something, or mediums, semi-warm as well. Gap down at 4.5, there it is. Most drivers on track, in fact, just seen there. 4.5 seconds, Rob Scott's. Both drivers, I think, have got a set of soft tyres left to play with. Have they? Ooh, I forget who's had what tyre now. Oof. Still at 4.5. Pajonsky then, oh, he's coming in now. He's getting rid of those hard tyres. He's going for the final soft sets. 23 minutes remaining in this race. Just to try and make the time up early. Does he bring him out in clean air? Just out behind Cutler and D-Dot. Yet to take final stops. And he's only 17.8 seconds back from race leader still, and on the soft tyre, so should be able to make these work for him pretty well. Pajonsky. IT43 in the pits as well for his final stop. So Rob Scott now 13.8 seconds clear from D-Dot. His soft starting to show some wear now as well. I think he's got the hard tyre left to play with. Cutler's got the softs for his final stint. Might have the soft as well, I can't remember. Pajonsky then closing up on Cutler, less than a second between these two. Gap between himself and race leader already down to 15 seconds. Making short work of Cutler then down here. Only 1.7 off the back of D-Dot in front. Rob Scott in the pits this lap then. Where is it going to bring these other drivers out? D-Dot comes through, throws himself in the pits. Oh, Pajonsky then goes through to take race lead. Cutler stays out on track on those hards. Rob Scott just comes out behind Cutler and Pajonsky. He's on the soft tyre as well, so it's going to be a real good fight here. Cutler, unfortunately, I think he's going to lose out when he comes in for his final stint. D-Dot back out the pits, yes. Medium's on for his final stint as well. DK10 comes through for 5th at the minute on a worn-out set of hards. Number 1 pops on a set of reasonably fresh hard tyres. Oh, Crawler just out the pits on his final set of mediums. IT43 has got to put his final set on as well. Ricky J is out of the mediums. He's got a final set to put on, as has Forky Jonesy. So Pajonsky up front, 2.8 second lead from Cutler. Cutler has got a Rob Scott all over the back end of him. Fresh set of softs on board for Rob. Looking for a way past Cutler. Is Cutler going to come in? Hopefully there's a little bit of signalling in between them if they do. Cutler stays out. Rob Scott then getting the toe off of Cutler down here. Is he going to make it work? Looking to run around the outside in turn 1. Not able to outbrake Cutler, but those fresher tyres Sweeps one around the inside at turn 1, but I'll just put him around the outside at turn 2. Not quite able to sweep up the inside. Tiny bit of contact between the two, but carrying a little bit of extra speed through there does Rob Scott. Goes into second position. Again, Cutler still yet to take his final stop. Thinking about slinging more back up the inside here, Cutler. Rob Scott sees that happen, lets him have it. Is going to slow them down for their chase for Pjonski up front. Oh, now Cutler goes wide. Rob Scott again comes up the inside, down the hill. Leaves plenty of room for Cutler. Tiny bit of contact between the two. Both drivers keeping on track, but again, Pjonski now up the road, 7.1 seconds. 19 minutes just under of this race remaining. Hopefully his tyres last him that long. It's now Rob Scott hunting down that first place. Cutler still yet to take his final stint, his final stop. Does he come in now? No, stays out again. Then 16.1 seconds down from race leader, 8 seconds down from Cutler. Let's see if he can make these mediums work for him. He is closing the gap up. DK10 in 5th at the minute. His tyres screaming out to be changed. Not this time. Number 1 Pops was almost in the pits inadvertently. Trawler, he comes straight through then. Fresh set of mediums on for him in 7th. Jay still out on his mediums. Oh, he's got a little bit of a penalty there. Not sure where he's picked that up from. Also stays out IT43. Oh, he does an old crawler. Oh, throws himself in the pits as well. Gets rid of those hards for his final stint. And Forky Jonesy, unfortunately, going for a little bit of off-track action. Oh, come on, cleanly. Oh, he's come straight off. Trying to stay out of the way of Cutler. .7 seconds up the road for Pjonski. Rob Scott on a fresh set of mediums. A fresh set of softs. He's going to have to work like hell to try and close that gap up. 17 minutes remaining. Cutler struggling on his worn-out hards now, holding 3rd. Stays out for another lap. That's going to bring D-Dot ever closer to him. 5 seconds the gap. And again, Cutler's still got to take his final stop. And D-Dot is getting a little bit of a tow from Forky Jonesy, I think, down this start-finish straight, or he will gain a tow. Oh, not like that, he won't. Far too quick into turn 1. Off he goes. 5 seconds, now 4 seconds back, but I'm not sure that time's going to stretch now with that little bit of off-track action from D-Dot. 4.2. Forky Jonesy still in between these two. Anything else kicking off on track? Who else have we got? Oh, we've still got IT first, all number 1 Pops and old Crawler battling it out. 5th and 6th. Got a set of hards versus a fresh-ish set of mediums. Oh, there it is. I've missed it. Number 1 Pops then. Runs a little bit wide through there. And old Crawler goes through on the faster tyre as well. Pjonski starting to run away with it here. 8-second lead from Rob Scott. 6.7 back, keeps running himself off track there. D-Dot now only 2.9 seconds back. Forky Jonesy does come in this lap then for his final stop. D-Dot bringing that time down rapidly, 2.3 seconds. He's below the 2-second mark now. Semi-worn mediums versus pretty well-worn hard tyres here. DK10 comes in the pits for his final stop. D-Dot then just 1.1 seconds back from Cutler. Cutler Still got to take that final stop. Gap down to half a second. Is D-Dot going to make the move down the back straight? Gets a good run on Cutler. Sweeps to the left. Can he make it work around this long sweeping right-hander? Again, tightens up just at the bottom here. Oh. Has forced Cutler into a mistake though. Cutler goes off track. Does he throw himself in the pits anyway? Yes, he does. So Cutler goes in for his final stint, and that does free up D-Dot to then hunt down Rob Scott in front. Unfortunately, 10.2 seconds down, 13.5 minutes remaining. If we go up front, Pajonsky is still playing with a 7.7 second lead from Rob Scott. Still 13.5 minutes remaining. A lot of wear on those softs for Pajonsky. We have a look at Rob Scott's softs. They're looking in a lot better condition. Pajonsky hold on to the lead of this race with those beating up softs. By the time it hits the checkered flag, they're going to be doing all sorts of sideways shenanigans to his little Mini. D-Dot holding that third position. Cutler back out on track. He did have softs left to play with. Okay, so out on track then. 18.2 seconds, 18.3 seconds down from D-Dot. Again, tall order, 12 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. May see that gap come down though if D-Dot's tyres wear out. I think I'm going to have to keep an eye on this battle. Pajonsky then losing half a second. His tyres already showing a lot of wear. Rob Scott's looking in way better condition. Still quite a long way to go in this race then. Just coming past the back marker. Forky Jonesy. Side by side through there. There's a good bit of driving action from those two. No contact, that's good. Crawler fifth. He's managed to make a break from number one Pops now. Again, it was decent mediums versus semi-worn hards at the time. I'll come back into play though as old Crawler's mediums wear out and number one Pops hards stay pretty sort of consistent. Ricky J still out on his mediums. Again, he wants to think about coming in and getting rid of those. DK10 has taken his final stint. He's only just behind, 3.3 seconds from Ricky J. And on that soft tyre as well. IT43 final stop. He's got a little bit of damage on the front. 30.8 seconds down from DMK DK10. Plenty of time between himself and Forky Jonesy though. 27.3 seconds. So 11 minutes remaining. Pajonsky still leading. Just about hanging on to this lead. He's got 6.9 seconds from Rob Scott. Slightly slower through these twisty parts of the track. Just don't throw it away here. Pajonsky 6.6 seconds the gap. There it is. Pajonsky then just heading onto that back straight. There is Rob Scott coming through. Jay does take his final stop now then. So back to third position, D-Dot 11.4 seconds back from Rob Scott. Plenty of room behind him, 14 seconds back to Cutler. He's thrashing the life out of those softs to try and make anything better than fourth at the minute. Again, going to be in a tall order, less than 10 minutes remaining of this race, 13.7 seconds, the gap he's got to try and make up. Plenty of gap behind him though. 9.5 seconds back to Old Crawler. I think most of the drivers pretty spread out now. A couple of back markers getting involved. That gap is still coming down. Pajonsky then 6.1 seconds. 9.5 minutes remaining. Rob Scott's softs just starting to show a bit of wear now then. Pajonsky's by the end of this race are going to be absolutely screaming out to be changed. Gap comes down again at 5.7, 5.8, so struggling through the tighter parts of this circuit then Pajonsky. Don't get me wrong, Rob Scott's going to start to feel it too in a minute. Still keeping himself ahead of D-Dot. That gap not coming down either. The one between Cutler and D-Dot is though not going to be enough before the end of this race, I don't think, without maybe a mistake from D-Dot, but we have seen a few tonight from several drivers. Yeah, look at the big blobs of red on Pajonsky's tyres in the bottom left. 8.5 minutes of this race remaining, the gap down to 5.5 seconds. We'll get ourselves on with Rob Scott. There is Pajonsky just heading towards turn 1 now. 5.2 seconds down for Rob Scott. Oh, that's not going to help. That's not going to help. Down to 5.1, but it's stretching back up now. Little mistakes like that just going to cost you. So from 5.1 it's almost up to 5.5 seconds again. Very cautious through these tighter turns, doesn't want to blow these softs out too early. Needs to use them to chase down the man in front. Thrashing it on the way in, not thrashing it on the way out. Gap's still at 5.4 though. Anybody else battling out on track? No, literally single file around the track in the minute. Yeah, nobody battling anybody else. 7 minutes remaining then, gap still at 5 seconds. Down a little bit there, 4.9 seconds, visibly closer on screen as we hit the start-finish straight again. You guys might not be seeing that, depending on what format you're watching it on. Maybe a little mistake through the final turn then from Pajonsky, slowed him down all the way down that straight, because that gap has come down massively from 5 seconds, it's now down to 3.8. So maybe dipped a wheel on the grass on the way through the final turn. Sorry, the sand, there is no grass. Tumbleweed. Gap down to 3.3 seconds, 6 minutes remaining. It's about 4 laps. Seconds. We'll have a quick flick through the field while it's not quite on at the minute. So it is Pajonsky still leading. 3.3 seconds from Rob Scott. He's got 12.5 between himself and D-Dot in third. D-Dot is losing time though. Cutler on his final stint on those soft tyres, bringing the gap down between himself and D-Dot. 8.4 seconds. Still don't know whether it's going to be enough. Old Crawler in fifth then. Number 1 Pops in sixth. DK 10 in 7th, Ricky J in 8th, IT43 in 9th. Oh, he's got front end damage. He's going to have to pit for fuel as well, I think, is IT43. Maybe. Forky Jonesy in 10th then. It is Pajonsky still leading, 5 minutes remaining. Rob Scott closed up even more, 2.4 seconds. Could be on here for final lap. Punch up. Board with Rob Scott then, hunting down that top spot. Currently leading the way at the minute in the championship, Rob. 2 seconds. Less than 2 seconds now. Pajonsky must be flapping in his sim seat. Won't be long before we see Rob Scott in the slipstream range. 1.5 seconds. It's just below a second is the slipstream range. 1.4 seconds. It's coming down with every corner. Again, Pajonsky's going to be struggling into these faster turns. He'll be braking earlier, taking it a little bit more cautiously through these turns. Again, Rob Scott's tyres will be looking, they are looking a little bit beaten up. We'll jump on board with Pajonsky and just have a look at how bad his tyres are. Oosh! Absolutely bleeding out those things. So the gap is down to less than a second then through the twisty section of this course. Again, Pajonsky will probably run a little bit slower than Rob Scott. There you go, gaining already through this one turn. So it's all about blocking him off now then for Pajonsky. Trying to shut the door on Rob Scott. 3 minutes remaining. We're going to see 2 more laps. Side by side almost on the way out of the hairpin. Pajonsky just holds it. Rob Scott biding his time, getting the better exit out of that turn. Pajonsky still thrashing the life out of his Mini to try and keep it in front of Rob Scott. Rob Scott carrying that extra speed through that turn then. Gets the inside line into this final turn as well. Nothing Pajonsky can do about that. His tyres are screaming out to be changed, but can't do that. He's already taken his 3 stops, or his 2 stops. Now the question is, how far back? Oh, there's still plenty of time between himself and D-Dot. But it's not out of the realms of possibility that Pajonsky could get this race back here. He's already threatening Rob Scott with the inside at turn 1. They're going to battle it out now towards turn 2. Rob Scott's going to have the inside line though and should be able to carry more speed, but it's a good effort from Pajonsky. His tyres will be absolutely screaming at him about now. It's looking slightly better for Rob Scott. He's started to pull a little bit of time. Pajonsky's, again, just got to think about his position. Doesn't want to throw it away and allow a D-Dot or a Cutler to close that gap. Possibly take that position, but it could be on here between D-Dot and Cutler. They're going to see one more lap after this. They are only 2.9 seconds apart. Out mediums versus pretty worn softs then for 3rd and 4th. Again, bringing that time down, Cutler. I don't know whether it's going to be enough before this last lap. Or Rob Scott has started to run away with it now then, so it maybe is. Oh, he's probably punctured that front left by the looks of it. I don't think I've ever seen them all red on the front. He's losing time to D-Dot, gap down to 9 seconds. But they are onto their final lap now then. Rob Scott leading by 3.7 seconds. The tyre wear on Pajonsky's car just hampering any kind of acceleration or cornering. Still got those 7.8 between himself and D-Dot, so Cutler driving hard, trying to close that gap up on this final lap. It's cost him though. He hit the dirt, picked himself up a penalty, lost a lot of time to D-Dot as well. Might have to settle for that 4th here tonight. But it is Rob Scott now then with a comfortable lead, 4.8 seconds. Nothing Pajonsky can do. His tyres are absolutely battered. See, he's just struggling to get in and out of some of these turns. Loses more time to Rob Scott. Has a D-Dot closing up on him as well. We have got drivers crossing the line. I am going to stick with race leader Rob Scott. He's done well. Managed to fight his way back up to the front. Stopped early, I think, Rob Scott. Strategy work though. LastSecond.com, last few laps, he managed to take it. Here he comes then, Rob Scott to take round 8 win here at Big Willow. Again, tricky circuit with all the dust. Pachonsky comes through to take second. Tyres absolutely beating up. D-Dot did close the gap up down to 3.3 seconds, takes third. Cutler again closed that gap down. 1.9 seconds, takes 4th position. Old Crawler, he's going to take 5th. He's going to wait a while though because he's run out of fuel. DK10 takes 6th, number 1 Pop 7th, Ricky J 8th, IT43 9th, and Forky Jonesy in 10th. We just wait for Old Crawler to sputter and plutter across the line. Alright, well, still take 5th there, Old Crawler, even without any fuel. Yeah, some good racing. Shame there was only 11 on track. We did lose Aldo as well halfway through. But definitely some good racing. Good strategies being put into play as well. So, right. What do I need that? There we go, round 8 done and dusted. That's a good win there by Rob Scott. Again, came in early. Thought he'd thrown it away a little bit, but in the end, came to take the win. So, fair play, teammate. I did think that Pachonsky had come in a little bit early for those softs. They do only last about 15, 17 minutes-ish. I think he was looking to do about 23, 24 minutes. So that's not going to work on these tyres, these settings, that's for sure. So yeah, that was it. That was round 8 of the Chewwitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup, hosted by Tanso. We are back next week for the standing round, which is in the place of Goodwood. Goodwood always seems to be an absolutely shocking race. Doesn't matter what cars or setup you try there, it just seems to be terrible. So, time to reveal the replacement. So it is going to be, Goodwood replacement track is the Alsace normal layout and is a 3 sprint format. So 3 15-minute races next week. And the top 3 from race 1 and 2 take over Success Ballast into race 3. Races 2 and 3. So that's next week, same time, same place, 8:30 here on my channel. Come and check it out. We've got some other leagues not far off starting as well. So September the 11th, I think, for one of the P1 leagues. I've got the DDR Vroom Room thing coming up as well. I'll give you some more details about that soon. See what's happening with the minis next season, maybe on PS5 if they finally got it working. And we'll see what else is coming up. Other than that, I hope you've liked what you've watched. If you have, give it a like, comment, subscribe. Tell your mates, tell your mums. My name's Dark Smoker. I'm out of here.